Welcome to the RTS Podcast. My name is Zion Smith, and today I will be talking about what it's like to face failure. On every Saturday, I will post my RTS podcasts on Facebook and Instagram, explaining different ways of how we should build great character in ourselves. Today, I have a special guest with me.
Hello, y'all. My name's Tyrell. Nice to meet y'all. Y'all may not know me, but I'm here to share my stories with y'all, and I'm glad to be here.
I'm glad you're here too.
Thank you.
So, facing failure. Facing failure is like you being in a dark place. When you are facing failure, it's like you feeling like you let the people that's kind of on you down. You let them down because you wanted to make them proud. And you wanted them to be happy for you. And down when the weight is on you and when you face that failure. And also, when you face a failure, it's like some people just wishing you and when you facing that failure, they satisfied. But we have to ignore that because haters, it's gonna be everywhere. But we gotta know how to love our haters because the haters is just gonna make us stronger, and failure is gonna make us stronger as well.
Yeah, the thing about failure, y'all, is that it can corrupt our minds.
Right.
It can make us feel like we can do nothing about it, and then it feels like a shadow creeping over you every single day and night, telling you you can't do this, you can't do that, you'll never do this, you'll never do that.
You never be good at this, or you never be good at that.
Exactly. So, we're here to tell y'all and share our stories of our failures and how we overcome it. And we're just going to make sure that we explain it in deep detail so y'all can understand. Because this is very important, not only for us, but for y'all. And we like to share it with y'all.
No, this is important for the world. The world
Yes, the
needs
world.
to hear this. If you're facing failure right now, stay strong. Don't do anything crazy. Talk to the people you trust, like your parents or your friends, or your teachers or your mentors. If you face a failure, facing failure can be one of the greatest accomplishments of your life because it's there to make you stronger. I remember back in my sophomore year when I was taking the biology as well. Now, keep in mind that at the time, biology was one of my weaknesses. Every time when we had a test, I would come up short. I either have a C or a D, like one or two Fs. I never had a B or an A in any of the tests or quizzes because science wasn't one of my biggest subjects. But I was always interested in learning science and learning biology because I thought it was fun. And I thought it was just interesting. I thought it was just interesting to learn, because biology pretty much explains what goes on in life. So long story short, I remember taking the biology as well the first time, and I believe the date was May 5th, 2019. I'm not sure, but that was the first date, and I got a 370, and I thought like, man, it's over. I'm done. I'm gonna have to take the biology as well in my junior year. What makes it even harder, because that means I have to go all the way back to the basics and study it all over again, which is something I don't want to do, because it's going to be frustrating and it's going to be annoying. But the bright side came up. Mrs. Jones, my biology teacher, she told me that you was in a range of retaking it. I was shocked. I said, what? I thought the range to retake the SOL was a 375 to a 399. She said, no, the school board changed it a few months ago. I said, why would they do that? She said that they wanted to give students better chances of retaking the SOL so they could have the potential to pass. I said, wow, that's brilliant. So that's when I just started to feel relief. I was so relieved that I was excited. Told all my friends about it, and I told them that I'm going to come back stronger and I'm going to beat this. So I went home, studied for 30 minutes every other day. I didn't want to go too hard on myself, so I just studied every other day. And the second day came, a day I will never forget, June 5th, 2019. Man, before the SOL, I was eating breakfast, drinking water, making sure that I'm straight, making sure that I'm ready. So when it was time to take the SOL, I went in there, confident, got my game face on. I was like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready to I'm ready to go down. Man, I'm ready to go. I don't know how to explain it, because I was so confident. It was like me being LeBron James back in Game 6 against the Boston Celtics, when the Miami Heat was down 3-2 in the series against the Boston Celtics, and they was on the verge of facing elimination. And LeBron James, he had that game face. I know y'all remember that. Man, he had that game face, and next thing you know, he dropped 45 points. He dropped 45. They won the game. Then they won Game 7. Then they advanced to the NBA Finals, and then they beat the Oklahoma City Thunder 4-1. That's how I felt on that day. I felt like LeBron James when he dropped 45 against the Boston Celtics. That's how I felt. So I was finished with that biology as well. I didn't get no break. None of that. And I felt good. So went home, played video games, got myself some rest. Next day, June 6th, 2019. A day I will never forget. Man, God came through.
Yeah.
I had biology that day. And I went on student view to find out, did I pass the biology as well, or did I fail the biology as well? And when I went on student view, I went to my info. It said that I got a 418 on the biology as well. I was so happy that day. I was punching the air. I went out the quiet zone and I jumped as high as I can, and I punched the air like it was a balloon or something. Man, I was so happy. I hugged my biology teacher. I told her thank you. I hugged my case manager, Mrs. Towns and Mrs. Wall. Excuse me. I hugged my two case managers, Mrs. Towns and Mr. World. Man, it was one of the happiest days of my life. So that's what it's like to face failure. Facing failure is not you being in a dark place, but eventually you have to think. No. You have to know that you is going to overcome it, and you is going to beat this no matter what the situation is.
Yep, good story, Zion. Good story. Alright, so one of my failures is when I was little, when I was like 7, I felt pretty much hopeless in my education, and I felt like I couldn't do anything about it due to the fact that I had people that had more benefits in education than I did, rather than me not having any. I didn't fit in. I wasn't able to interact with my classmates due to the fact that I had autism. And pretty much people look down on me because of it. And I feel like, why does my autism have to be a part of this? Doesn't matter if somebody has autism or not. Like, does that really matter? That's what I questioned myself when I was younger. And during that time, I was pretty much homeschooled and stuff. During that time when I was pretty much around when I was in preschool, I was homeschooled by my mom. She taught me everything that I needed to know in order to get to the next grade levels and stuff, and she just taught me everything. And then I took it all in, then I tried to, get the education that I needed to get. Just kept going, and then right when I was in 2nd grade, I started struggling a little bit, where I was about to fail almost, because there was some other stuff that I didn't know that my mom taught me. I felt like I couldn't do anything about it. I didn't know who to turn to at that point. Then I had to make some adjustments to myself, because in all honesty, some of those things were from me that I needed to work on. I knew that there were some things I needed to work on. Like, having to interact with my peers wasn't the easiest thing for me to do, because when I try to interact with them, it feels like I'm speaking a different language to them. And I'm like, is this person understanding me or what? And then they look at me like I'm the confused one. So here's what I did. I put in the work just like everybody else would do in their grade levels. Moved on up each grade level to what I am today in 12th grade. And then 7th grade was pretty much the hardest failure that I had to overcome. I was pretty much devastated. I felt like my performance was dropping due to the other grade levels that I did in the past, because it was pretty much the worst grade level that I had to deal with. So what I did was, I basically worked on myself even more by studying hard even more, asking more questions to my teachers, because I haven't been doing that in my 7th grade year at all. I pretty much blew everything. But the exception was I was still able to go on to the next grade level. But that means, to me, that's saying that I'm given another chance to redeem myself.
Right.
So what I did was I tried to prove them to the people that doubted me. They assumed that I was dumb. They assumed that I wasn't going to get to the next grade level. They assumed that I was the weird one. You can think that all you like, you know. That's not going to stop me from doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Because deep down, everybody can get through these obstacles. Failure, anxiety, all that stuff. We still get through that stuff. We try to overcome it. But really, you just gotta turn to your loved ones. Go to the people that you care about. Hang out with some people that actually care for you and have a conversation with you and don't look all confused when you're talking about stuff. So really, my biggest failure was in 7th grade when I was failing pretty much the majority of my classes. I was failing math and English. The other classes I was doing fine in, except for those two, because I knew those two were the classes that I needed to work on, that I was doing terribly. Due to the essays in English and all those math problems that was like a second language to me, and math, it was a hard thing for me to do. But I still try to learn them, you know? I still try to get through them. English, it's easy for me to do now. All by listening carefully to what the teacher says and doing the essays carefully and not rushing and make sure to proofread. That's all I have to do for English. Math, I just need to stay with the teacher and ask a lot more questions and take notes. Other than my other classes, I don't need to do those things because I understand them. But in all honesty, you can overcome those things with a bit of help. And making sure not to doubt yourself at all.
Right, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. If
Exactly.
you feel like you're in a dark place or you feel like you're in a hole right now, ask for help. You know, It's nothing wrong with asking for help. Just
exactly
coming through for your loved ones or for your teachers or mentors. You know, tell them how they overcome failure, and they will give you examples and tips of how to overcome that. You know, and if you're facing failure right now, know that it's not the end of the world. You still have a whole life ahead of you. You know what I mean? So basically, if you're facing failure, please, from the bottom of my heart, don't give up, no matter what. You know?
Yeah, just don't give up, man. Man, woman, whoever's watching, don't. Just seek the help that you need.
Yeah.
Whether it's your grandmother, whoever. Just don't be afraid to speak up to what you have to say.
Right. Tons of YouTube videos about the motivation to overcome failure. You can watch those, get motivated and get pumped up, and just tell yourself that I can, I will, and I must. You know, just keep motivating yourself. Excuse me. Just keep motivating yourself every single day. And that's okay. Know that you gotta try again. But don't give up, you know? Then give up. Because if I give up, I know that I'm not trying. And I know I'm not learning anything. Failure gives you the experiences that you need to know in your life. So I think that's what facing failure is all about.
Mm-hmm. All right, so all right, so yeah, that's all you have to do, man, woman. That's all you gotta do. Whether you fail at something, that's part of your life. That's what you have to go through.
Right.
We've been through those experiences too. You're not alone in this.
You're not alone. And by the way, that was a great story too.
Yeah, thank you.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
This is Zion Smith.
And this is Tyrell Platt.
And this is the RTS Podcast.